Okay, so we got both these blades done now. They're all ready for thing. This one's got a really nice grind line on it. It turned out really good. This one's got a thicker set of filings on it. You know, the file itself was a heavier file, so the grind line didn't quite go up as far on it, but it turned out really nice too. The angles are just perfect on both these. This one might have been a little bit narrower down here towards the bottom too. That's probably why it didn't go up quite as high, but both angles are right on the money. And next thing will be heat treating these things, hardening them I should say, and then we'll heat treat them, do a final sharpening on them, and go ahead and put a handle on them. So let me get the heat treating. Let me get set up to heat treat these, and then I'll do that. I think I'll do that off camera. I actually ran out of propane for the forge, so I'm gonna have to do it with a torch, which is not a big deal, but actually it's kind of a better deal because that way I won't even have to heat treat I won't harden the tangs at all. Then I'll just harden the blade itself. So let me get back to you on that. Hey guys, I'm back. I went ahead and got gas for the forge, and I went ahead and hardened both of these. I didn't film it, I forgot, sorry. But I'll tell you what I did was I heated this up, just the blade part, up till it was orangish red, just till I kept touching it on the magnet. I'd take it out of the forge, put it on the magnet, take it out of the forge, put it on the magnet, and I just heated the whole thing up till it became non-magnetic. And then I quenched it real quick, blade down first in warm oil, and I actually put a piece of hot steel in the oil before I quenched these two blades so it was nice and warm. And then I left it sit in the oil for just a few minutes, not even minutes, probably 30 seconds, and then I took it out and left them cool sitting on top of the anvil for a few minutes. And now all I got to do is I'm going to go ahead and take some emery cloth, and I'm just going to clean up the edge on these until they're nice and shiny. Actually already did one of them, but I just want to clean it up till the edge is nice and shiny, and then they're going in the oven. And I will set the temperature at 400 degrees, and they'll soak in there for 2-3 hours, and I'll kind of keep my eye on them. And when they hit that straw color, I'll even go for just a little bit, and if I get just a touch of light blue purple on it, I'll shut them off right there. And then I just let them cool, and then I turn around and I clean them up again, and I do a second soak. Being that these are so thin and this point is so pointy, I want to make sure that these things stay sharp but are tough enough to where this point isn't going to snap off when you put a little pressure on it. And we'll see how that works, because I've actually never done anything with such a really thin little point on the end of it. So we'll see how my heat treat works. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but right here's the blade. Usually when I'm cleaning up and when I'm sharpening an edge, I usually go ahead and I clamp this blade onto a block using a second block as the clamp, like this. Put a C-clamp on there, clamp it down by the tang. It stays on there really good, and it doesn't move around on you and all that good stuff. And then I just take emery cloth stuck on a piece of wood, and I just I hold it at the angle that I want it to stay at, and I just go ahead and run it on here a few times until it gets nice and cleaned up. And you're kind of sharpening it too at the same time. So hopefully by the time you get done with the two cleanings, then your sharpening is down to a minimum when it comes time to final sharpen it. So that's where I'm at with that. I will go ahead and flip this thing around, do both sides, and then I'll pop it in the oven. Okay, now both of these are cleaned up enough to, I don't know if you can tell, enough to tell that it's time to put them in the heat treat. Yeah, if it will focus. There you go. They're cleaned up enough now that you can see that they're nice and shiny, and that's what you want. You want to be able to stick them in the heat treat, and you want to see this edge right here turn straw yellow about, I guess. It's not really, kind of hard to explain because it's not really, it is straw yellow, but there's different shades of straw yellow, and sometimes it's hard to judge what shade of straw yellow you want. But I usually shoot for, especially on a blade thin like this, I'm going to shoot for as dark a straw yellow as I can, almost to where it's touching the bluish purple color, because this is a thin blade, and I definitely don't want it to break, but I want it to stay sharp too. So okay then, so let me go ahead and pop these in the oven, and we will set this up at 400 degrees for 2 to 3 hours, depending on how the color changes, and then we'll clean them up again. And we can actually start thinking about handles too for these. So okay, I will be back. Okay, so they're in the oven, they're cooking right now, and I thought that we would start working on handles, and I got a nice piece of birch here. It's got some knots in it and stuff, but I think we can get a couple nice handle pieces out of here, and I think we'll just go with like a traditional birch handles for it, since it's kind of a Scandinavian type of knife, carving knife. So let me go ahead and cut a couple pieces off here, and I'm going to make my handles a little bigger than like say a Mora knife, because I've actually got a hook knife that I made. It's got the little bigger handle, and I like it a little better. It gives me a little more control and stuff. So let me go ahead and cut a couple pieces off. I think we can get 2 handles out of that. Okay, so while those blades are in heat treat, I got a piece of birch cut off, and I think I can make one handle here, one handle over here. So I got tool number 1 out, which is a Makatagan we made at the very first Makatagan I ever made, and this was made a while ago. It took me a long time to post the video, and then after I posted the video, that's what prompted me to do some of these other videos. So we're just going to use this tool to kind of rough out these handles. And this is dry wood, but this thing will make very quick work of it. Except for the knot. That might actually be hatchet work there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to taper this end, and then I'm going to cut it here and here, and then taper the other 2 ends, and that'll be a rough shape of where I want. And then I'll fit the brass caps for the ends. I want to get a rough dimension on how big around I want it to. So. And we're making it straight at the same time. Sometimes you can power right through the knots with this, sometimes you can't. Yeah, I don't know that I want to go a whole lot smaller than that, at least in the middle. Sometimes you gotta take your time and work around these knots. I didn't see this knot, so we'll see what happens. Actually, it probably isn't going to be bad. I don't mind having a few knots in my handles anyways. I think it gives them character. Okay, so let me go ahead and work on this for a little bit, and we will get back to you. I don't know if you guys ever mess with these Makatagans or not, but if you never owned one, boy are they a nice thing to have. They make quick work of a lot of things, that especially when you're like me, when I'm by myself most of the time and if I'm out in the woods, I got nothing to hold things. It's a one-handed draw knife, and it's slicker than it's nice and slick. So I'm gonna have to get an axe and get rid of this little knot, but that's not a big deal. Okay, let me I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut these off, because I'm gonna work this knot this way, and then I'll get back with you. Okay, so I'm back. I got these cut, and we'll go ahead and work the other ends off of these. This birch is kind of soft, but not real soft. It'll slide through, this Makatagan will slide through them knots pretty decent though, which kind of surprises me. It's really not made to do through knots, but it does okay. You can take nice light cuts if you want, or heavy ones. It's a slick little tool. I mean, not even really putting any pressure on it right now. It's just taking the finest little curls. It's the very first Makatagan I ever made, and it's probably my most favorite one. Probably sentimental reasons more than anything, but grip on it. And I'm just trying to take some stock off this end, because these ends are both all going to get tapered a little bit. Because I really like it, like the swell in the middle and the tapered ends. Seems like it gives you a really good grip, especially on something like a carving knife. And at the same time, I'm kind of eyeballing it, trying to get it somewhat straight from end to end. And once I get it close to roughed out, I think I will do a little filing. There you go. This is a good practice thing for when you're using your Makatagan. You guys And that's still sharp enough. It'll shave hair, so pretty cool. Well, anyways, let me go ahead and work on these for a little bit and I'll get back with you. Okay, so after a whole bunch of sanding and a whole bunch of filing and stuff like that, I got these kind of roughed out. I got to go to the hardware store tomorrow and grab a couple copper caps. I'm gonna fit a 1/2 inch copper cap on the end of each one of these, so that they have that cap on there and they won't split out at the ends. And I'll slot the cap and drill this thing all the way through and put the tang through it, and for the knife into this. But here's what they look like. One's just a smidgen bigger than the other, but that's okay. You know, it is what it is. Maybe I may shorten the other one up a little bit because it actually is a little too big. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and do that. Just shorten it up just a bit and do a little more sanding on it. But they're almost done.